Welcome back to Buckets WNBA edition, filling in for Jim Turvey. Once again, I'm Bryan Fonseca. Joining me is Dano Mataya. You've heard him on this show a bunch. We've got a 2-game slate that we're going to give you our best bets for. And as a reminder, remember to get these picks on the Action Network's website or on the award-winning Action Network app, where we're going to be rolling out a bunch of new features. If you listen to the NBA version of Buckets, Matt Moore talked about this a little bit, but we're going to be rolling out some new stuff as it pertains to that, and you're going to want to be locked in because now the NFL is coming back, college football is here, the NBA is going to come back soon, the WNBA playoffs are gearing up, so there's a lot of fun things to sort of monitor and track in the app as we get towards this fourth quarter soon. For the sports calendar, which is always a fun time. Okay, let's get right into the slate for Friday, August 29th. We're already almost at the end of the month here, which is crazy that this year is flying by. Dano, we have 2 games. Just a 2-game slate. So not a lot that we're going to get into tonight. But first, we have the Dallas Wings and the Atlanta Dream. Spread is minus 14.5. For the Dream, the total is 163.5. And our second game tonight, we have the Indiana Fever and the LA Sparks. The Sparks are favored right now, -1. It was just -1.5. This line's been jumping around a lot, so we'll see where it lands up by tip-off. But the Sparks are getting basically a possession there. And the total is 177.5 points. Dano, first of all, how are you feeling right now? We're getting deep into the season. Playoffs are just over a couple weeks away. We're getting to that point now. But do you have a general thought before we dive into this slate?
Yeah. With the not related to this slate, but the Washington Mystics, I think they're just done. I think the rookies hit the wall. I think this team just does not give a shit. So this is a little look ahead for me with the Valks playing at home. I don't know how many more home games they have, but it's definitely the last home game in August. I will be looking to bet that line as soon as it's out. I'm not an overnight type of bettor usually, just with the how soft limits can be and whatnot, but I cannot wait to bet the Valkyries against the Mystics. Also, shout out to the Storm for losing by 32 to an underhanded Fever team, but coming back from down 20 and beating the Lynx, who'd only lost 1 game at home all year.
Yeah.
Wild day. So, yeah, I mean, I guess point is weird things happen towards the end of the year. Probably pay attention to who is like jostling for standings. I could totally see the Lynx mailing it in on the last game of the year because they already settled in for first. They could have clinched the 1 seed tonight. They did not, but just pay attention to little things like that. It's going to be wonky the last few weeks.
Yeah, especially now. Now feels like more than ever we're waiting on a bunch of injury things, just sort of details with injuries and seeing how that sort of shapes up both the league and the playoffs. As far as the Mystics go, I mean, Sonia Citron, 2 thumbs up this season. Job well done. Everyone else, yeah. I mean, I feel like to your point, they do look like they're ready to go. Okay, let's kick this off with speaking of injuries, Dallas Wings and the Atlanta Dream. Part of why this is such a big spread, the Atlanta Dream favored by damn near 15 points. The Dallas Wings have everyone just about on the injury list. Questionable day-to-day, out, just straight up out. Paige Becker is obviously among others, day-to-day, questionable with an illness for this game. Arike Ogunbowale is still out with her injury, and just up and down the line, we don't really know who's going to show up entirely for this team. And the Atlanta Dream are just going to be missing Jordan Canada, looks like, who is doubtful with a hamstring injury. So, as mentioned, 14.5 for the Dream. You like Dallas's total team under here, -74.5. I would assume part of that is what we were talking about with the injuries just now.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it. And then Atlanta's defense lately has just been firing on all cylinders. And I think they've given up over 75 plus in one game in the last five. That was to the Aces. Asia had 30. So, what are you going to do? But they're coming off a loss, and they're another team that really has a lot to play for right now. And I think one thing with Semesco's, team, if they're not hitting threes, they're going to be locking in defensively. I mean, I could see them kind of losing focus if this is a blowout and they are covering that huge spread. But so I wouldn't mind maybe looking to middle this total at some point. But Zaya James took the bulk of the shots in the Wings loss against the Sun. Went off for 20 points. It's going to be a lot harder against a team like Atlanta, whereas the Sun are probably an easier team to score on. So, yeah, I mean, it might be a good place to look for Dallas Wings player props. With Page out, there's, got to be some food to go around. So, maybe look that way. Maybe Hines Allen is, she's a vet who can get some stuff done. Maddie Segrist might have a big game, but I don't see them getting 75 as a team in Atlanta, a team that is coming off a loss, sitting at third in the standings right now, behind Vegas, and I think Atlanta has higher aspirations, so they would love to get a few wins here before the end of the year.
At the time we recorded this, Maddie Segrist's points prop is at 16.5. I'm seeing.
Oh, that's pretty big. Yeah.
Earlier it was at 15.5 to score 15 or more points. I'm seeing minus 176. So there's a ton of juice there. If you want to get really, really frisky, she's plus 220 to get 20 points in this game. So if Paige Beckers is out, now her props are listed. Paige Beckers' props are listed just because she's questionable with the illness. But I mean, other than just reps, is there really reason for her to sort of power through this at this point of the year? I mean, that could be up for interpretation. But I just don't know what to do with the slate given just the injuries all the way around. And with Atlanta, it's going to be tricky because, okay, if Dallas is sitting the majority of their roster or the majority of the players who like really are impactful, then with the Atlanta Dream, if this is a blowout going away, then you have to factor in, okay, how long is Ryan Howard going to be out there, for example? How long is Alicia Gray going to be out there, for example? So I'm kind of probably just staying off this game. I would like to see, obviously, Dallas be like a little more healthy than they're projected, just because it'll make the game more interesting. But it doesn't appear that it's going to be that way, Dano.
What do you think about a first half spread for Atlanta? I don't know if they have that up yet or not.
So that's typically what I like to do when I feel like there's too much imbalance between the two teams. Like for example, Eurobasket today, there was I'm blanking on the game right now, but there was a situation where I was like, okay, this will pull away. Actually, no, it was Serbia yesterday, where they were so much better than Estonia, and it was like, how could you not bet the first half? This could be one of those with the Atlanta Dream and Dallas.
Minus 8.5 right now.
Yeah.
And I saw, at least at one book, spreads up to 15. So I think it'll settle at some point, but still, maybe I'll decide to play that, but we'll see. I like to think that Atlanta, after a loss, comes out a little more hungry, and we've seen them, be outright dangerous, from three to start out games. So, I don't know. I'm not going to give it as official play, but I lean it. So,
yeah, like I generally prefer first half over first quarter just because of the margin for error. Like the first quarter could just be like, hey, it's 18 for 17 after the first 10 minutes. And it's like, oh, well, they didn't cover the first quarter, which if we're saying the half is at 8.5 at this point, then the first quarter is going to be, 4 or 5 points or so.
4, yeah.
So, and then that could balloon to a double-digit lead before halftime, you would think. I'm with you. For first half, as a lean, like we're not giving this out as an official play. If I have any play for this game that I kind of like, it's probably that one. But I'm not telling you I'm going to definitively lock it in the app at this point. And neither is Dano, but he does like the total team under for Dallas at 74.5. And just to check, is that independent of Paige Beckers' status? Is any injury going to impact this, or it's just whoever's out there, you like this number?
Yeah, no, it's definitely looking like I would not play this if Paige is playing. I think
Got it.
she's too
Glad I asked.
crucial. Yeah. Yeah.
She'll figure it out. She'll score maybe half the points herself if she has to. Okay. Let's go to the final game of the 2-game slate. The Indiana Fever, the LA Sparks, as previously mentioned. Line is -1 now for the Sparks. We'll see where it is by the time you're hearing this. Total at the moment, 177.5 points. We both have player props in this one. You like Kelsey Mitchell over 21.5 points. And I love that for obvious reasons. We'll talk about it. And I like Rickea Jackson again. Played this one earlier this week. It cashed. And doing it again with slight uptick. So over 1.5 threes and playing her to make 3+ threes, both of which she's been doing with high rate of consistency as of late. Rickea Jackson is also day to day, so she might not even show up and play in this game. But if she's out there, we just need her to hit a couple threes. Let's talk about Mitchell first. Obviously, Caitlin Clark, while it seems like maybe nearing a return because there's more reports about getting work done and shooting around, but still non-contact, so we're not at that point yet. She doesn't appear that she's going to play. Sophie Cunningham's obviously out. Sydney Colson's out. Ari McDonald's out. But Kelsey Mitchell's been cooking. So you like her over 21.5. Tell us why.
Yeah, I think this game will be much more competitive than the last Seattle game. You look at her last four games out, 38, 27, 26, 21. They were up by 30 going into the fourth quarter against Seattle. So I think she played 2 minutes in that fourth. They also have not beaten the Sparks this year. 0-2 at home, and then lost once on the road. And so I think it's a good opportunity for them to get a win, and they're definitely desperate. Hard to beat a team, hard to sweep a team in the WNBA at least. So I could definitely see the Fever coming out with some heat, and I think the Sparks defense isn't something that I would be afraid of necessarily. I might even play some alts with Kelsey at this point, just on how much they rely on her. With all the injuries that Fever have had, Kelsey Plum is not, or Julie Alabama is not a typical guard stopper. So we should see a big Kelsey Mitchell game.
Over this number in 5 of 7 in 9 of 15, I believe, if my math is correct. Also averaging over her last 15 games, 23 points. So this is right around where you'd want to be. Yeah. Also, some
last time in LA had 34.
Yeah, and also some really hyper efficient performances as well, getting it done from the field, making over 50% last game, almost 60% against the Lynx a couple games ago, which I thought was a very spirited performance. Just overall this season, just watching her has been a lot of fun, and obviously having to step up without Caitlin Clark, it's not anything small. So I love this play, and I don't have a ton of concern about defense in this one. I feel like this could be a game that produces a lot of points for obvious reasons. We should potentially get some transition buckets as well, I think. To that point, I'm going to play Rickea Jackson again over 1.5 threes. That number is hovering around 140-ish at the moment. So kind of similar to where it was the other night. She went 4 for 7 a couple nights ago when we played this. So this was on Tuesday night, August 26th. She went 4 for 7 that game. Now, I'm playing over 1.5 threes. Now, she's done that in 9 straight contests. And they still won't put it at 2.5. So, okay. And I get it. But, she's been killing this number. And I'm also going to play 3 or more threes. She's gotten that number in 4 straight. And of the 9 straight games where she's gotten over 1.5 threes, she's gotten 3 or more in 6 of them. So we're seeing trends there. And with 3-pointers, I often like to look at attempts. Rickea Jackson is getting the shots up. 7 threes in each of her last 4 games and 10 in the game before that. So over this stretch, it was a run that started off with just 5 threes a game on attempts. The first 4 of the 9-game streak, 5, 5, 5, and 5 attempts. And then got to 10, and now it's been 7. So you're seeing a little more consistently You're seeing her shoot rather a little more consistently from deep. So love that. Numbers are tilting the right way. If she's active, because she is day to day now and questionable at the time we're talking about this, if she's active, I do like this play. I'll just keep it at over 1.5 and 3 or more. I don't see myself really going crazy to 5 and 6. Now I probably should, just because she just got 4 and she just got 6, but maybe 4 is something I could sprinkle for fun. But earlier this week, for her to make 3 or more threes, as we mentioned, that was at plus 180. So that was a pretty nice number to get that there. And as far as this game against Sparks, or rather against the Fever, Rickea Jackson to get 3 or more threes is plus 225. So that number is actually much better. So I feel like it's good enough to where I don't know if you need to go to 4, but if you do, that's plus 630 at the time we're recording this. So any thoughts on Rickea Jackson potentially getting up some threes in this game?
Yeah, she plays. Absolutely love it. I mean, I don't know what her percentages are lately, but I feel like she's just been automatic. Granted, there's been some good defenses they've been playing, but she's probably been, all in all, if you look at all the sophomores from last year, have to be the most consistent if you put the whole season together.
It's something that people were waiting for too. Like coming into the season, there was some excitement about, okay, can she really pop this year? And lately you've seen a little bit more consistency, to your point. So the 3-point question that you just had, 48% from 3 over her last 9 during the stretch we've been talking about.
Good Lord.
On 6.5 attempts per game. So that's a legitimate sample size. That's a legitimate sample size. Now, is it gonna last through the rest of the season? I don't know, but there's enough here to want to continue to ride this train. And to me, in looking at all the props, I was like, I'm just going to go back to what worked a couple nights ago and really what's worked, because I've played this a couple different times during the stretch. And the reasons are all there for her to continue this if she's active. And it's one of those where it's like, all right, if it goes under, then the trend was maybe meant to stop at this point. But I'm okay with that because she's been on fire from deep, absolutely on fire. Okay, we will wrap it on that note. A sort of housekeeping note: we won't be here on Tuesday, off for Labor Day, but we will be back a week from now. So when you're hearing this, you'll be getting WNBA edition of Buckets at the end of the week. So we won't be here for the Labor Day episode, but back after that later on in the week for Friday. And obviously, you're going to hear a lot more from this feed as we get closer and closer to the WNBA playoffs, which is a lot of fun. For Dano Mataya, I'm Bryan Fonseca. Remember, you can track all these picks on the Action Network app. You can go on the Action Network website and let us know what you're going to be playing tonight and what you think of our picks, whether you're tailing or otherwise. Take care, have a good one, and thank you for watching or listening.